The idea that all we are trying to do is provoke or, break taboos. The whole point is that they are taboos because of social control. The idea that, like, those taboos exist for a reason. They're not just arbitrary. The taboos are set by the sort of ruling ideology, like the ruling regime. And the taboos are set up to prevent challenges to the dominant consensus. So the idea that we're going to have this like free vacuum country where it's like you'll have a liberal regime but totally free speech, it doesn't make any sense. You cannot have that. So the point is to break the liberal regime and replace it with a right-wing regime, and then there will be new taboos. But we're not fighting for, against taboos as a concept. I think there are, there's such a thing as a good taboo, like being a homosexual should be a taboo. I'm not in favor of total permissiveness, total libertinism. I think that being a homosexual should be a taboo. I think that like public nudity should be, like a lot of the things that I'm watching right here should be a taboo, and like rightfully so, based on a different moral paradigm. And only a different regime can enforce that. Only dissidents can bring that about. So, and it always goes back to this libertarian stuff about libertarians want like a negation of the application of power. Like they do not want power to dictate the way the world should be in a certain way. They want power to simply be negated. They want it to be canceled out. They want to live in a state of no state, no power. And then therefore, I guess every individual is just going to do their own thing. But of course, this is a rejection of the idea that you even have a collective, that you even have a society. But of course we do. But of course, because we live in a society, we have norms and standards and customs and things like that. And all of those have to be particular. And those particular things which have to make a decision, you know what I mean? Like it has to be something. It can't be nothing. Something has to determine those things. You can't live in the absence of power. You can't live in the absence of culture, the absence of morality, right? There has to be something. And the question is what will fill it. And libertarians, by arguing for a negation of everything, really what they're ultimately doing is opportunities to enforce a way of life that is right-wing, we pass over because we don't believe in power. And then, obviously our enemies are taking all the opportunities to do their thing. And the end result is that the enemies are in control and we are not. And that has been the story of the past 60 years. Every opportunity where conservatives and nationalists and populists could rise up and exert control and exert our will on society, it's been passed up because we are going to do the libertarian thing and we're not going to impose on the rest. And the result is without our imposition, another vision is imposed. And I think that's the problem with this like libertarian idea about provocateurs. This idea that like, well, we're not in favor of our own taboos, we're against all taboos. But you can't have that, because as long as you will have morality, as long as you will have culture, you will have these boundaries. You will have a box, and there will be inside the box and outside the box. But you cannot not have a box. Society will be bounded by these things. So that's the point.